Hi everyone, this is Amsterdam Comic Geek speaking, and this is just gonna be a quick video, a little update about the channel and the stuff I'm doing at the moment. At the moment I'm reading The Man of Steel by John Byrne and Dick Giordano, and that's from 1986. It's the Superman reboot from the 1980s, and this is one of the copies I have. It's a number 2 issue, it's a 6-issue series. But I also have a Dutch edition here that contains chapters 4, 5 and 6. But I also have it digitally, so because I don't have it complete as a hard copy yet. Look at this splash page for a moment. I really love what Byrne does here. And now the sun is coming in. It's a point of view of Perry White, the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet, while he's having a coffee with Lois and Superman is flying by. Look at that. It looks great. I really love this splash page. I'm a big John Byrne fan, so it's a treat for me to read this reboot of Superman after Crisis on Infinite Earths. And when DC Comics had a reboot in the 1980s, they have had a lot of reboots in the last, I don't know, couple of years. It's a reboot company, I would say, restarting the continuity a lot of their cast of characters. And this was one of the big ones. I remember from when I was a kid. The 1980s was a great time to grow up and read comics. And I'm reading this book, or rereading it actually. It's American Comic Book Chronicles by Tomorrow's Publishing, and this is the 1980s. I'm sorry about the light, the sunlight. And it tells about everything that happened in the comic book world in the 1980s. This is the Superman reboot, so Man of Steel, and all the great covers that came with it, as you can see here. But also, of course, The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller and Klaus Janson. We got some great stuff here. And let's see. What else? They got timelines for every year. You can see what's going on while Jim Shooter getting fired from Marvel, as you can see here. Spider-Man's marriage that same year to Mary Jane Watson. Yeah, it did take place, even though they retconned it later. But also other pop cultural stuff that's very interesting, like the start of Star Trek The Next Generation on September 26th that year. I really love reading these books and getting to know more about comics in general, what happened in the comic book world at a certain time, but also discovering new titles. And this year for me is going to be about back issues and older series from back in the day, from my youth and before that. Because frankly, I'm not that excited about the current state of the comic book world and what comes out at Marvel and DC. But I love comics, and there's plenty more to read from the past, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what they're talking about here. So I'm not concerned. I don't have anything to talk about this year because there's plenty to talk about. I think so much came out in the last 80 years when it comes to comics, and a lot of great stuff to read or reread. There's so much great stuff, like I said. Here's Jack Kirby. And also comic books about comics. Like this one, American Comic Book Chronicles. I'm thinking about buying the 1970s and 1990s as well, because I'm curious what they wrote about it. I'm just wondering if you're familiar with this series of books and whether or not you like it. Have you read them? And which era did you think was the most interesting when it comes to comic books? I was growing up in the 1980s and 1990s, so I have fond memories of a lot of stuff that happened back then. But also the 1960s were very interesting, of course, because Marvel Comics. It was the origin years of Marvel Comics when Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and a couple of other guys created that universe. So anyway, just a couple of thoughts while I was reading Man of Steel. I'll probably do a video about some of the panels in Man of Steel. I'm not sure yet. I'm just reading this for the first time and enjoying the heck out of it. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys at the next one. Have a good day and stay safe. Cheers.